So, what if I told you there's a force at work right now that can literally shape empires, build fortunes from nothing, and completely change the course of your life? No, it's not magic. It's a principle called compounding. And once you really get it, you'll start seeing it everywhere, and not just in your bank account. You've probably heard this legendary quote, right? It's usually pinned on Albert Einstein himself, and it perfectly captures this whole idea. It paints compounding as this monumental, world-altering force. It basically says there are two types of people in the world: those who use its power to get ahead, and everyone else who ends up paying the price. But here's the funny thing. Einstein, he probably never actually said that. It's one of those things that just sounds good. You see this debate play out online all the time, just like in this Reddit thread here. One user is saying, be skeptical, but another one makes a great point. Just because some quotes are fake doesn't mean the idea itself isn't true. And let's be honest, it really doesn't matter who said it. What matters is the incredible truth that's locked inside that quote. That principle is undeniably powerful, and that's exactly what we're going to unpack right now. All right, so let's pull back the curtain on this so-called eighth wonder. What is this thing really? How does it actually work? Okay, so at its heart, the idea is so simple. It's your earnings generating their own earnings. The absolute best way to picture it is a snowball rolling downhill, you know? At first, it's tiny, but as it rolls, it picks up more snow, it gets bigger, and the bigger it gets, the faster it grows. That is exactly how your money can work for you. Let's actually put some numbers on this to make it real. Let's say you invest $10,000 at a 5% return. After year one, you've made $500. Simple enough. But here, this is where the magic happens. In year two, you're not just earning 5% on your original 10 grand. You're earning it on 10,500. So you make $525. See that extra $25? That's your money starting to work for itself. And that cycle just keeps going, and it gets faster and faster. And that brings us to the single most important ingredient in this entire recipe: time. The longer your snowball has to roll down that hill, the more massive it becomes. Starting early isn't just a small leg up. It is a total game changer. Just look at this. This is the real cost of waiting, laid out by JP Morgan. It compares two people. Okay, so one starts investing 5,000 euros a year at age 25. By age 65, they have almost 640,000 euros. Now, the other person does the exact same thing, but just waits 10 years, starting at 35. Their final number? Only 354,000. Let that sink in for a second. That 10-year delay, which was only 50,000 euros less out of their own pocket, cost them almost 300,000 euros in the end. That's not just a rounding error. That is the ghost of a lost decade of compounding. It's staggering. And don't for a second think this is just some modern financial hack. This principle has been a fundamental engine of history. It has built empires, and it has shaped the world for centuries. Think about the Roman Empire. Their investments in roads and aqueducts, those weren't just one-time projects. They created a system that compounded food production and trade for generations. Or what about the Dutch East India Company? It became this global titan just by relentlessly reinvesting its profits into more ships, which created this feedback loop of power and wealth. And my personal favorite, Benjamin Franklin. He left a small chunk of change to Boston and Philadelphia back in 1790, and simply by letting it compound for 200 years, it grew into over $6.5 million. Incredible. So how does this all play out today? Well, in the modern world, there are really two main philosophies on how to use compounding to build wealth. And honestly, they are worlds apart. On one side, you've got what author MJ DeMarco calls the slow lane. This is the classic advice, right? Invest in index funds, be patient, and let your money just quietly compound for 40 years. It's super reliable, but you're not really in the driver's seat. But then there's the fast lane. This is all about entrepreneurship. It's about actively building or buying systems like a business that compound value much, much faster. Here, you're not aiming for 7% a year, you're chasing multipliers. And here is a really powerful shortcut for that fast lane. You don't always have to go through all the pain of starting from zero. As author Walker Dable points out, you can acquire a business that is already working. You essentially buy an engine that's already running. You start with momentum, not from a dead stop. So how do these fast laners get that insane growth? Well, they use leverage, what DeMarco calls the holy trinity of scale. First up,
People, building a team that can run the whole machine without you having to be there. Second, systems, using automation and software that literally works for you 24/7. And third, capital, smartly using other people's money, like loans, to grow way, way faster than you could on your own. Each one just amplifies the others.
But here's the thing. Whether you pick the slow lane or the fast lane, absolutely none of it works without the right mindset. Harnessing this power is an inner game. It's about discipline, patience, and psychology. I absolutely love this quote from Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's longtime partner. It's blunt, yeah, but it perfectly captures the reality of compounding. That first phase, getting that first 100,000 saved up, it's a grind. It is the hardest part. It takes the most sacrifice, and it feels painfully slow. But once you hit that critical mass, that snowball effect really kicks in, and the growth just takes off. But we have to talk about the dark side. We have to, because compounding is a neutral force. It just magnifies whatever you point it at. And when you apply it to debt, you unleash its destructive evil twin. And this is what that evil twin looks like in the real world. Check this out. On a $5,000 credit card balance at 20% interest, if you only make the minimum payments, the interest compounds against you so viciously that you can end up paying back 3 times what you originally borrowed. It's terrifying. The exact same force that builds fortunes can dig a hole so deep it feels impossible to climb out of. So let's just end on this one thought. Compounding is happening all the time, in every single area of your life, whether you notice it or not. Your habits, your knowledge, your relationships, they are all compounding, for better or for worse, every single day. So the only real question is, what are you choosing to grow?